On to the SASSA debacle now, where desperate pensioners have been travelling back and forth to various pay points hoping to receive their SASSA grants. Some say they've had to use their last penny to commute. Nobesuthu Hejana is travelling with one family that hopes to finally receive their grant payment today. Nobesuthu, good afternoon to you and thank you so much for joining us. You have been together with other colleagues on this matter, where we even heard Minister of Communications and Digital Technologies saying that the matter has been resolved with the post-bank payments. But of course, this is not true, at least not 100%. What can you tell us with regards to the non-payment of pension grants with the family that you have engaged with?
Well, Cindy, after 3 weeks waiting and traveling back and forth, Mr. Christian Peterson can now finally say that the money has reflected in his account. In fact, we started with them around about 11 when we left their house in Bonteheuwel, where, they were optimistic, but obviously they've had that room of disappointment because he had been traveling, trying to see if he could access his funds, and every time he goes to either the retail store or at SASSA Point, he was told to come back or try the next day. So finally today the Petersons are smiling and they're excited. Mr. Peterson, how are you feeling?
Well, to be honest, man, I'm myself. I feel like I'm myself. I can laugh now, I smile, and I can see the tension. It's just fading away now. Yes.
So tell us about your experience inside. Was it easy? Were there any delays for you to get your money finally?
Well, there was a slightly delay, yes, because my cards was right by the machine, but there was a slightly thing, but everything is all right. I got all my money, and I'm very proud about it.
Yeah. Ms. Peterson, what have you planned? Because we know that, it's his money, but obviously you're the one who's running the household.
Half.
Yeah.
You see, it's Heritage Day over the weekend, so we are going to have a big braai. That's our intention, a big braai over the coals and nice salads and stuff. So that's it.
And you were also telling me earlier that the money will also go to some of the bills that needs to be paid. Just run through us. What are we going to be paying? And
yeah, we need to buy our electricity bill runs up to 450 a month. Okay, then we need to pay our city council, which is almost 300 rand, and then the rest is up to us. So that's the main things that we have to pay actually.
And also, Mr. Peterson, you were telling me, next month you're hoping that you don't have to go through all of this again.
Hopefully, next month I won't go through with this. I hope so. Yes.
And you were saying earlier that you will believe the minister once the money reflects. Are you happy now?
I'm happy, yes. I'm happy because why? Sometimes you don't know what to believe, when it's gonna happen. But like we sat on that thing yesterday, and I listened very attentively what he said. So I thought, okay, maybe, just maybe, the words will make an impact everywhere. Thank you.
Yes, I would like to say, we talk about the minister. I want to say this to the minister. Mr. Minister, I did listen to your speech then in the assembly, and your words is right. I did get all my money without that I had 16 days. But that's gone now. Your words were true. I believe in you, and I say thank you very much, Mr. Minister.
Thank you very much. Well, Cindy, those were the Petersons. Mr. Christian, they're saying that, although he had to wait 16 days to access his funds, he is happy that finally his family will now be enjoying the money. Ms. Peterson talking about the fact that they still need to pay some of the bills, electricity, and also the rates. But she says they're going to have a big weekend this weekend.
And it's really it's heartwarming to see some relief, especially where pensioners had to wait over 16 days for their grants to be paid out. But a feather in the cap of Minister Mondli Gugubele from Mr. Peterson, they're giving him his flowers, as it were, saying that finally payment has now reflected into their accounts. But when you really think about it, Nobesuthu, I mean, this is obviously affecting thousands of pensioners who had to wait, many of whom also support other family members, including grandchildren. So when there is no social grant, especially for the pension, it affects not only the elderly, but also the dependents that are waiting so patiently for their payment. And we do hope that this will not be repeated. Nobesuthu.
Certainly, Cindy. I mean, yesterday when we were speaking with the Petersons, just in their street, we spoke to a resident who was saying that she looks after 5 foster children and they had not received their money, and also she had also not received her own pension fund, and was saying that she was quite disappointed at the fact that officials were saying that all is well while other people are still awaiting. She was asked to submit documents, an ID, as well as her card through an email that she was asked to use by the Post Bank, and she did, and she also WhatsApped the number, but she was told that the funds would reflect after 24 hours. She went to check again and there was nothing. So she's part of the group that are still waiting, and hopefully she will also see the same results as the Petersons going forward.
And this is not going to look bode very well, not only for social development, but just for government in general. You know, they have this policy or program that is called Batupeli, loosely translated. It speaks of the Ubuntu principle, you know, of compassion, of a nurturing and caring government. But this in itself has just put a huge blemish on that particular program. Nobesuthu, we know that the opposition party also taking government to the Human Rights Commission primarily on this matter as well. It's going to linger on for them to do some form of damage control. And again, we hope that it's not going to be repeated.
Certainly. In fact, organizations like Black Sash were also vocal yesterday after listening to that particular briefing, saying that, I mean, there are still people that are without their money, so government can't just celebrate whatever information that they have been given without actually doing the groundwork. In fact, we also went to an NGO that, like many in the Western Cape, they had to step up and assist the vulnerable. And when we're speaking to Moimana in Vrygrond, she was telling us that about 150 seniors, they queue up in her NGO waiting for food. And she was saying that, I mean, it's quite sad to watch old people begging for food because they are yet to receive their SASSA money. This is their sole money that they are reliant on or they're dependent on. So she was also saying that, I mean, government should do better and ensure that this does not happen again.
And this will be a very good lesson as well going into the national elections 2024 for any government, whatever form or shape it will take, be it a coalition or that it will be a multi-party government or one-party dominance, that we don't know as yet. But it is something that would have to be very high up on the agenda, particularly of the socio-economic challenges that face many disenfranchised people, particularly the elderly and those in townships and rural areas as well, that this is a constitutional right. In other words, it is something that you cannot necessarily take for granted or even exploit people based on what they're entitled to receive from the government. Nobesuthu.
Certainly, Cindy. In fact, when we were speaking earlier this week with the provincial MEC, Ms. Shana Fernandez, she was saying that, I mean, she opted to write an open letter to the office of Ms. Lindiwe Zulu because they've been trying to engage with her and trying to find out whether provinces would be briefed by the national minister, and also what contingency plans should they be taking to assist those who are struggling to get their money. And she was also saying that, I mean, she was disappointed disappointed that they were met with silence, and the fact that they believe now there's more to it than what we were told about the technical glitch, and whether could this be a way to cover up for the Post Bank or to keep it afloat. But I mean, obviously a lot of people now are looking at the government and how they are delivering to those that need the help, and actually thinking whether, if this continues, is this the government that they want to continue putting into power, or hopefully that things will change going forward and people are not subjected to such treatment.
Nobesuthu Hejana, thank you so much, reporting from Cape Town there. At least we are now have confirmation that some recipients of the SASSA grant pension have received their monies. If there are any others, I'm sure the process, or hopefully they would also be beneficiaries before the next payout is due.